Every concept we hold is the space between the cells, the inner workings of you, all the bits that stick everything together, all the things that talk to each other. And I say those are all the concepts you have because every concept you have is based off a feeling. The concept of love. I have a feeling. That must be love. The concept of hate. I have a feeling I'm angry, or it must be hateful. I have a concept of joy. You have this joyous feeling. But what is the concept but an actual feeling? I could say, go ahead and conceptualize a foozle. Well, you can't feel it. You can't think about it. You have no idea what it is because it's a word I made up. It doesn't exist. So there's no concept of it. There's no feeling. The concept of another person is like what they feel like. The concept of food is this feeling, taste, it's this textural thing. And it's all some sort of feeling that it creates. And even food creates the feeling of the space between the cells. It brings the nutrients in our body, the energy of the food into our body, which then creates this environment of feelings. So it doesn't matter what it is, but there's a certain sense to it, a concept mixed with a feeling of it, or maybe the feeling or the concept gives you a feeling. So it's always synonymous with your feelings. And the space between those cells that I mentioned is all of that neural reception, all of that little molecular stuff that's not actually fully formed into, this is a molecule, it's not fully formed into a cell or anything like that. These are little teeny things. And even down on the subatomic level, you get even smaller, but on this atomic level and the electrons jumping from atom to atom and these little peptides and all this little stuff that's happening. And it's all this energy exchange of information from cell to cell, and it's how your body works, and it's so very intricate. We have no real grasp on it yet in medicine. We have a lot of different people studying some beautiful things and discovering different neural receptors and how all these little peptide chains work and things like that. But we have no real concept of how the whole thing works together in this body that's made up of 4.8 billion volts worth of cells. And now it's not a lot of amperage, you're not shooting lasers out of your nipples or anything like that. It's just a lot of voltage. Each cell carries its particular inherent energy. So all of that energy flowing through in all of those little spaces between the fluids that the nerves produce, these little molecular structures that help everything communicate. All your body is this intricate network. It's like the nerves are the main channels that send the information to all the cells, and then they all kind of talk to each other. And we all talk to each other, feeling each other with mirror neurons and everything like that. And we have all these concepts, and it's like all of that, the things between are like the concepts that run through our body. It's the very concept of life. It's the same concept in Hinduism of prana, life force. It's the same concept in Chinese medicine, qi, this energy that is created from the body. And we can see that qi created through a piezoelectric effect of the bones. There's this output of frequency of our bodies, this electromagnetic being. And the other thing we can see in that is the Holy Spirit of Christianity or of Judeo-Christian tradition. This feeling that you have moving through. And without anybody teaching you any of those concepts, without anybody saying, oh, this is the concept, you never would have felt the concept. Without anybody saying, God is love and he is always taking care of you and you will be okay, and you going, okay, I'll be okay. That thought changes all of the space between. It changes how you feel. It's the same concept. If you're like, oh, this is going to suck. Oh, this is going to be horrible. You're feeling that way. Your body prepares itself neurologically to have it suck, and then it sucks. So the same concept with God, and I find it funny. The last stat I saw is 80% of Americans believe in God. It's like, yeah, I get that. There's this deep concept of God, but what is God? Who is God? If not a concept, if not a feeling through you, if not your own still voice within of the feelings. In every one of those feelings that you have, the noticeable things, all of that 90% information that's going on subconsciously, all of those feelings are whatever your concept is, whatever you make them up to be, however you feel about them. And somebody else, talking about that 80% believing in God thing, it's like somebody else had those feelings down the road, down in Bronze Age, and wrote something down. I have this caveman feeling. I feel these tingly things. I have this vision of seeing this sun in the sky, and this east star that rises in the east and sets in the west and brings new life, and all these concepts of God and how God ties into our human experience, all these ancient concepts that were feelings in ancient beings. And now we can just simply look under a microscope and say, oh, I get that. I see all these feelings going through here, all based on my concepts. And none of this is actually real. But this is me believing myself into a state of being. And I can be in any state of being through my own thought process. I can drive myself into hell. I can drive myself into misery through my own concepts and thought processes. I can drive myself right into heaven, right into the kingdom, into oneness, through the same, through letting go of all of those thoughts and all of those demands and all of those concepts. You are completely in control of your experience, of your reality, and of your feelings. Now, it's a very loose control because 90% of it is subconscious. But you still have control of observation. You can say, look at me having these feelings. Look at me having these thoughts. And you can observe those things and make sense of them instead of getting tied up with the feelings, of becoming the feelings. Oh, I am the feelings. When you allow yourself to have these natural feelings of life from all of that little space between the cells, you have the observational power to change how you're feeling, to be a new way, to truly feel God's will in your life, to know your own truth, to have that inner voice speaking to you, to come to the peace that passes understanding, to be in the middle of the flow. And it's all just your feelings. It's all just the space between. If you're having a hard time working through any of your feelings, if you're having a hard time working through any of your old traumas and wounds and the things that make you feel the way you feel in this moment, if you're dealing with health issues from that, autoimmune stuff, all of the things that get jammed up in our immune system when our emotional system, all the space between, is out of whack. If you need help with any of that stuff, this is the work that I do. It's Emotional Alchemy. I also do guidance calls. I'd love to chat with you. You can just hit up my website and we'll make it work.